Hi, my name is Gold Porter and I own Riveter Consulting Group. We're a national agency. We're located in Los Angeles, but we do staffing across the nation. So just to tell you a little bit about ourselves, the topic today is why should an estate manager engage an agency for hiring? So everything I talk about will be based off of how my agency handles it, but I do think most of us work similarly. I know in the talk on the 29th, quite a few of my fellow agency owners are going to be speaking as well, and I know that we kind of work in the same way. So first of all, what I would like to say is that I believe in top-down staffing. So as an estate manager, I think it's most important to always get the estate manager placed inside the home in order to do the hiring below them, whether it's the housekeepers, the nannies, things like that. So we all know that estate managers can have a very broad definition. Perhaps they have a family office that handles all the human resources. They might have a business manager that does the finances and needs pre-approval. Depending on the situation, you'll have to handle the engagement of an agency in a different way. And we all also know that there can be a lot of pros and cons to working with an agency. I know there's nightmare stories and people aren't happy with the engagement they've had in the past. I find most estate managers engage with agencies that worked with previously or have a reputation or a previous relationship with. If this is the case, you want to look for a recruitment firm that covers all the basics for you. Make sure that you do have pre-approval for the placement fee prior to engaging an agency from your principal or, again, the key points of contact, whether it's the chief of staff, the business manager, but make sure that the clients absolutely know that there is a placement fee. Ensure the infrastructure is in place for the employee properly. Find out if they are going to be paid through payroll. It's pretty much illegal at any point to pay any kind of employee as a 1099 anymore. So make sure that you have this discussion before. For instance, our Riveter is the first payroll company in the nation that also does a placement fee as well. So in lieu of placement fee, we do payroll services. So we do taxes, all the filings. We also offer health benefits. Most companies do not have that infrastructure. So just do your due diligence, make sure that you know all of this information before engaging an agency. Now, I'll tell you again how we work. I'm not saying everybody works this way. We charge 20% of the annual salary as a one-time fee, and we do a 6-month guarantee on that, meaning if for any reason the candidate doesn't work out, we will start a new search and work on it until they're happy. I typically see some agencies are more like 3 months, and most range around 20%, same as we are. Now, I would say the typical search can be anywhere from probably 2 weeks from the time it goes live to 2 months, and that really depends on how fast the principals are moving, the hiring process as far as interviews, trials, things like that. So the process, sometimes I've sent out a candidate and it's one and done, everybody's happy, and it's done in a couple weeks. But I would say an average search is at least 30 to 45 days. Now, once you have an agreement signed and you figure out the agency you want to work with, and I will say most of my clients, depending on how fast they want to move, sometimes they engage multiple agencies. If you do that, what I think is best is because a lot of candidates are registered with tons of different agencies, they're just trying to find a job. So make sure that you have a good line of communication back and forth with all the agency owners or your recruiters to tell them that you are working with other agencies, but just tell them if you do find somebody you like, let them know so they can stop the search. They're using a lot of time, resource, and money to do these searches. And I certainly understand if somebody's in an immediate need and they want to work with other agencies. I'm understanding of that as long as there's clear communication. So now that you've gone through all that, you got the contract signed, you're ready to start your search, the first thing you need to do is assess what the hiring needs will be. So whether you are the estate manager and you're making this determination, a lot of times I do consulting with my estate managers and kind of talk through maybe the problems they're having, whether there's several housemen on staff, several nannies, and you're trying to figure out a schedule, and you want to know, California law as far as like overtime. So sometimes it can be very complicated. I have homes with 20 or 30 staff members, multiple homes. So sometimes it's really good to engage with somebody that has the experience with not only one position, but all of the positions within a home that can kind of give you some, their expertise and advice. So figure out, make sure if it's I would say if it's a replacement and maybe you're new to this household, find out what didn't work. Why are they replacing this employee? What were the pros? What were the cons? What did the employer like? Find out the positive attributes that you can share, and then find out the weaknesses so you can do it better the next time. It could be a complete reorganization of staff, and you want to start you just want a clean slate and start over. But discuss this, let them know what has worked in the past and what didn't work. I really think this helps for them to do a better job. And next is building a job description. So some of the items you need to know all the job duties, errands, cleaning, whatever, houseman duties. Need to know the schedule. And now sometimes this needs to be a little flexible, but discuss what the ideal schedule is. The one thing that I always tell my clients is, give me your unicorn. Tell me everything you want. I want to know the job duties you want, the schedule, the preferences. I'm not saying I can obtain it, but at least I have an idea of your unicorn. We can get as close as possible to it. Find out the compensation. If you are not sure about this, at least give somebody a range. The recruiter some kind of a range so they can understand what they're working with. There's a big difference between 85,000 and 150,000. But if the range is 120, 125, that at least tells us the caliber of a candidate that you want. A lot of times on our ads, what we'll do is just depending on experience, so that the client, the principal, can make that decision on their own if that candidate is worth the money. But please come up with some kind of range just to help the agency really do their job well. It's really good to have a lot of information about the family, the culture of the home, what they tend to, some principals are seen but not seen, like, they don't even want to know staffs in the house. Some want to engage and have them be part of the family. So these are important factors to know if, when we're interviewing, if they're overly talkative and too chatty, it might not be right for that kind of a household that likes privacy and likes anonymity. So find out as much as you can about the principals as far as sharing this information. I know that a lot of principals are very private. They don't want their name out there. They don't want their name on the ads or their location. That's fine. But you can tell the agency owners all of this information. They can keep it private for you. But again, it will help them do their job. And it will help you, make you look like a rock star when you get that great hire. Find out if there's any kind of benefit package, health, dental, medical. Whatever the entire package is, if there's discretionary bonuses, all of this information helps. And then what you want the start date to be. Again, give a range. We'll do the best we can to get it as fast as possible. You never know. And then what the interview preferences are. Is this going to be an in-person interview? Who are they going to be interviewing with? The principal, the estate manager, chief of staff? Find out what is the hiring process, and who the point of contact is going to be. Will it be going through you as the estate manager? Do multiple people need to be on these emails when you're sending resumes? Just the chain of command is very helpful. And then, in this new world of COVID, a lot of times vaccine is required. So find out that in advance. If it's, say, a nanny or any other role, if they need CPR certificates or any kind of certification proof. So give all this information. If you are going to hire an agency, have them do the work for you. I'm going to be honest. Let them do the work. Let them do all the legwork, and then send you the candidates for review. I personally ask a lot of other questions. I do ask, are there pets on the property in case there's allergies? I ask them, about children, even if the role has nothing to do about children. There could be a chef in a home, but, if there's little kids running around, if they're comfortable with kids, all these like little particular things. I think those are very important. All the questions, sometimes I know we can't talk about sex and age and things like that. But when they're in your home, let's be honest, there's people that prefer just to have a woman assistant or a male assistant. So these are things that you need to share with the agency owner, because last thing they want to do is waste their time giving you the wrong candidates. So be blunt, be truthful, be honest, be candid. And, you know, make sure that they have, when the agency is sending you, make sure that they are sending you all the information you need. Tell them what you want to see. They'll tailor it to you. I will speak for myself, how we work. What we do is once we get a job description, we put it out there. You know, we go through our existing candidates, we go through our database, we put additional ads on different sites depending on the job function. We reach out to candidates to see if they have any friends that are interested in the role. So we kind of work along every avenue we can to find as many qualified candidates. In the end, we probably send maybe 3 to 5 to each client, because we've already vetted them. We're not just throwing things against the board. We want to give you the highest quality candidates first and see if they're a fit. Sometimes we go in a little blind. We don't talk to the principals directly. We don't have a lot of knowledge of what they really want. So sometimes we are just sending what comes in and then getting feedback to define it a little more. What we do, we interview every single candidate face-to-face. Well, let me rephrase that. We used to interview face-to-face, but again, with the pandemic, we do almost everything via Zoom, unless they were in our database previously and we interviewed them in our office. When we interview them, we take a profile picture of them, we get a copy of their driver's license, we get all their certificates, we get their vaccine card. So when we send a profile to a client, an estate manager, a principal, we're giving them a full CV. Hiring is a daunting task, and you may not have all the resources available that an agency owner does. I've been in business for 10 years. We have a massive database of qualified candidates. If you as a estate manager are in charge of hiring, you're going to be going on Indeed or Craigslist or Estate Jobs or whatever, but you don't have the time necessarily to interview every candidate, get all their documentation, check their references. It really takes you away from your job. So if you can, convince your principals to hire a placement firm, that's what they do, that's what their expertise is, it's going to take it off your plate. But you can define what you're looking for, because they're going to be your employees, they're going to be working under you. So establishing that relationship where somebody gets to know you, understands what your needs are, is really key. I think it also gives you, with some of my clients that they do all of their hiring through me and they come back often, sometimes they ask for a discount, and I'm happy to give a little bit of a discount. So I think that's another value add, is that if you establish these relationships, and also, I have some really loyal assistants and estate managers that no matter when they get hired or who they get hired by, they always come back to me for their hiring needs, because they trust, how I work. And I'm sure a lot of agency owners have the same experience, that, you can help negotiate some prices lower, which makes you look good for your employer, makes you look like the rock star that you are. So I think all of these things can really help you in your role. I do know that, sometimes people are like, I don't work with agencies, and I always try to understand why, because our goal, and part of why I started my agency, is I really wanted to have my candidates feel as valued as the clients. And I know when I was a personal assistant and working with agencies, I felt like nobody cared for me, really cared about what I wanted. So I really try to do the exact opposite with that. And again, I'm speaking for myself. I think I speak for a lot of my fellow agency owners that are good friends of mine now. We love what we do. We love helping. We love putting people in homes, making them have the dream job they always wanted. We love getting those messages like, oh, I have my dream job, I'm so happy. I love hearing from clients that, these assistants, these nannies, whatever it is, has changed their life. It's allows them time with their family, allows them to do their job better. So that is really the goal. So I appreciate everyone's time. I wish I could have done this live with the other agency owners. Thank you again. My name is Gold Porter, and I own Riveter Consulting Group. We are based in Los Angeles and nationwide. Feel free to reach out. I would love to meet every single person that attended this conference, and I hope to do many more. Thank you.